Good morning. Hope you're having a great day. Good start to it. Okay, I'll just wait a moment or so to make sure people are coming on. And here we go. Okay, Nick, good morning. Nick, this is a showstopper. Just telling my staff ahead of time. This is blow your socks off day. And Michael, Jeanette, and Andrea from Niagara Falls. Hold on, I just missed somebody there. Yeah, Mike. Okay, let's scroll here. Thank you for coming on, guys. We appreciate it. Nativity, good morning. Laurie from Niagara Falls. And Jeanette, good morning to you. Nellie. You guys are some of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Thank you very much for coming on. Denise, how are you? And Joe, how are you, Joe? It's 5:30 in the morning, isn't it? In BC? Joy. Natalie from Oshawa. Zian, our dear friend. Jeanette. And Jeanette. Woohoo, she says, because we're going to blow your socks off today, guys. This is a blow your socks off day. I'm telling you, I posted a little article on our private Facebook group, and we're going to talk about that today, and then I'll try and send the article itself over to Brandy and see if we can post it somewhere. Darlene, hold on, let me just say, Graham, from the United Kingdom. And this story, Graham, is coming from the United Kingdom. It comes out of the BBC. And it was in the, what was it? Let me have it. I got it right here in front of me. Hold on here. In the, this piece on the BBC experiment in the Daily Mail, the most read newspaper in the United Kingdom is the Daily Mail, okay? So, Graham, you'd know all about this, okay? You might not know about the story, but you'll know all about the Daily Mail. Darlene and Helen, and you guys are great. Thank you. Hazel from Newfoundland. We like that. Kathy from Virginia. Love ya. Thank you for coming on. Newfoundland, Carol. Cami, you are from Ohio, Lima, Ohio. Well, welcome to our program, and I'll come on afterwards and say hi. Now, guys, I'm going to blow your socks off here. I'm going to blow your socks off here. This was in the Daily Mail in the United Kingdom, this story. I posted just the picture of it on the private Facebook group this morning. This is a 30-day experiment by a medical doctor. He did it to himself. He just ate 80% processed food. And what happened to him in 30 days? Now, isn't it interesting? I wish the Daily Mail would interview me. Why not? Well, they should, because the 30-day reset, okay, and for those who will listen on a podcast later, I'm showing the book, The Reset. This is a 30-day program that has been unbelievably successful eating program. It's a 30-day eating program. And it is the complete opposite of what this physician did in the United Kingdom for 30 days. He had a diet, and he did it for 30 days, and they monitored him closely, including MRIs of his brain. Guys, this is the most, I don't know if it is the most significant story that I've read in the last year, but it is incredible how fast the body goes south. How fast things happen in the body. On the positive side, 30 days. The #1 selling book in Canada, The Metabolic Reset, the most successful diet right now in Canada, eating program. On the positive side, how fast things change in 30 days. I've showed you that. We can talk about that a little bit this morning, but what I want to talk to you now is about the side effects of poor eating in 30 days. Now, what was this physician doing? 80% of his calories came from what we call processed foods, okay? Processed foods. Okay? And he mentions 7 things that they monitored that happened to him in 30 days. These foods, by and large, are prepared in a factory. They're wrapped in plastic. And here's what he was eating. They are convenient. Chicken nuggets, #1. Now, I'm going to show you again. I'll post this morning, okay? I'm going to show you the top 20 foods that Americans eat. Now, if you're in America, if you're in Canada, we eat the same, okay? We're no different, okay? There's a border between us, but we eat the same. By and large, it's the same. These foods, here's what he ate, okay? Chicken nuggets. That was his first meal, by the way. Pizza, sweets, frozen dinners, sandwiches, breads, obviously, cereals, and even low-calorie snacks, okay? Those were the things in this experiment that were used, which is typical, by the way, diet for most young people and a lot of other people, okay? Very typical. Chips, French fries were on the list, okay? Now, these things, here's what happened in that experiment, okay? And again, I'll get the article to you. This is incredible, guys, because it's not only of the speed, how fast things change. It's what happened to this medical doctor, this physician who decided with the BBC to do an experiment. Okay? Now, here's what he found. In 30 days, he quickly put on weight. Yeah, well, makes sense, right? Makes sense. He couldn't believe how fast he put that weight on. #1. But guys, it's like the reset. You know, weight loss is a tremendous benefit of the reset, but that was never its primary purpose. Remember, the #1 reason was to get rid of metabolic syndrome, and metabolic syndrome has to do with food and your pancreas, the insulin. Insulin resistance. That is the #1 reason that you do the reset, is to fix insulin resistance so that your cells become insulin sensitive. You increase the sensitivity of insulin. We'll talk about that in a minute, just so I explain it to you again. But that's the reason for the reset. If you've read my book, I explain the importance of fixing insulin. Okay, now, so he put really what this physician did is he put insulin on trial by eating foods that elevate your insulin big time. Okay? I gave you the list of foods that he ate for 30 days. He put weight on. Okay. That was the least of his problems. His brain changed, and I'll get into that in a minute, but I just I'll go over the 7 things that happened to him, but I'll do some detail on some of them. His brain became foggy, sluggish. Okay, that's number 2. Fat gain, weight gain. Thinking changed. Poor sleep. In 30 days, he started to develop sleep apnea. We'll talk about that. His cortisol went up. It's actually 8 things because he mentions it in the fact that he wasn't sleeping. You don't sleep, your cortisol goes up. Your cortisol goes up, you don't sleep. He had a lot more anxiety. Okay? Numero 4. Heartburn. Heartburn. He developed heartburn. Now, what have I told you? Okay? Heartburn is a symptom. It's a symptom of insulin resistance. It's your body saying, hello, hey, you there, you're eating wrong. Change your eating because I'm screaming at you. I'm trying to get your attention, Linda. When you have heartburn, it's, I got too much, acid coming up my stomach. Yeah, but why? 95% of the time, it has to do with insulin. It's your pancreas screaming at you. It wants to get your attention. Number 5, he was hungrier. He was hungrier. Okay. And, I gave you a whole teaching on this. Why are you hungrier? Has everything to do with your brain. Your brain gets rewired. You're hungry all the time. You see, obesity, guys, it's not calories in and calories out. Obesity is not that. It's hormones gone amok. Obesity is rewiring of the brain. Hunger. He was hungry all the time. He couldn't believe it. Why? I told you why. I did a whole teaching on this. The wood stove theory. Remember what I said about that? What's the wood stove theory? Well, you don't heat your house if you have a wood stove, or you don't heat your log cabin with paper and twigs. They burn too fast. You're going to need more and more and more and more. You need logs on the fire. You remember that teaching? Well, he found that out. He was hungry all the time. That's number 6. Number 7, his blood pressure went up. His blood pressure went up. What is blood pressure, guys? What is it? It's not a lack of medication. Oh, I got high blood pressure because I need medication. Now look at medication. All it does is I'm not saying not to take it. All I'm saying is medication for high blood pressure, it just manages it. It's like metformin or insulin if you're a diabetic. It's not meant to fix it. It's just meant to manage it. The vast majority of people with high blood pressure, it's another sign that you have too much insulin resistance. The body screaming. The warning signs of insulin resistance. He ate 30% faster. His habit changed, because again, he was consuming crappy foods. He ate it quicker. They monitored everything. It was amazing. It was amazing. Now, let me bring you to a couple of places that they noticed were recorded, because they actually would do MRIs on this physician's brain. His brain in 30 days changed. In 30 days, his wiring inside of his brain changed. He had all these different new connections in his brain. Unbelievable. Guys, it even shocked me how fast this happened. Inside his brain got rewired in 30 days. And again, I mentioned to you, when you see somebody at a mall that's big, if you see someone in your family that has a problem with obesity, their brains have changed. So, one of the things that they do, and I just gonna go off on a little side, rabbit trail for a second. Let me say this. I've watched a whole industry start up in the last 15, 20 years. What is it? It's called bariatric surgery. You know what I mean by that. And that is where they staple your stomach, or, there's a couple of different procedures that they use, but generally they sort of fix your stomach. They change it. They make it smaller. The problem with that, they're looking for love in all the wrong places. It's not your stomach. It's not your stomach. It's the brain. It's the reward center. This is where all his new wiring took place inside. It's like having a bad electrician coming in. You know what I mean? And putting in a new box. But it's wired wrong. And it all goes to the reward center of the brain, where you release, dopamine. And you want to fix. You see, fast food, fast food industry, the food industry, they're not stupid. They know this. They have people, they have scientists working for them who know exactly how to package goods, package food, goes and rewires the brain You get the can't help it to eat because you're hungry all the time. Plus, you get a reward if you eat. It's like smoking. Well, how do you think smoking works, guys? What did they know in the 1960s about tobacco? They got nailed to the wall because they had hired scientists and they hid all their experiments. You can actually watch a movie about it. I can't even remember what the movie is. I watched it years ago, 20 years ago. True story. Because they got a whistleblower. And he told the story of how the tobacco industry knew that in the brain, every time you smoke, it gave you a little bit of dopamine. Oh, you know what? I feel better. They knew what they were doing. That's what the food industry does. The cereal companies that go after your kids to tell you that Tony the Tiger is great. He's not great. Tony the Tiger is great at hooking your kids. Oh, Dr. Martin's got a heart on the box. Yeah, eat it. You're going to have a heart attack. Plus, it changes the wiring in your brain, guys. The MRI on this physician showed in 30 days his wiring had changed in his brain. The feel-good center, the reward center changed all the synapses. You know, it was almost like, woohoo, party central in the brain. And when they talk about, genetics and medicine, I get so uptight. Alzheimer's. Oh, by the way, in the United Kingdom, the number one killer is Alzheimer's. And I told you in this book that Alzheimer's, by and large, is a food problem. The 30-day experiment of rewiring the brain. And I talked to someone yesterday and I said, look, on the reset, man, you're going to rewire your brain the right way. In 30 days. When you do this, remember what I always use it again for those listening on a podcast. I'm using my two hands. With my right hand, I am taking out the crappy foods. No sugars, no carbs for 30 days. I got 100 reasons for it, but generally what we're doing is we're no carbs. I want to fix up here. I want to fix your insulin. I want to fix the brain. I maybe not that. But remember now, with my right hand, I am bringing it down, okay, about a foot, but I am upping my left hand, okay, from my shoulders up to the head. And the reason I do that is because I'm changing fuels, guys. You're taking out one. It's not calories. Okay? It's you eliminate bad foods. And you know what? Even the plant kingdom, temporarily, and there's a reason for it. I want no carbohydrates, no sugars. You take this down and you go up with high density logs on the fire, protein and fat. The best combination is protein and fat. No soy, no PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acid. This is what he was eating. No packaged goods. You're eating eggs, meat, and cheese. No, but guys, this is, I just about fell over when I picked up this article. And hopefully the BBC, who really did, the British Broadcasting, right, corporation, just like in Canada, we have the CBC. In Britain, they have the BBC, famous. And apparently their show's going to come out on May 27th. I'm sure the nice thing about, we have YouTube and all this and that. This is incredible, guys. This is incredible. I rest my case. How destructive food is. And quickly. Can you imagine the side effect? Because one of the things, I didn't say it myself, but one of the things, the unintended consequences of, in Britain, the lockdown, in Canada, the lockdown, in the United States, the lockdown, less in the States than us. But in Canada, we're still locked down. What are people going to do when they're locked down? Are they going to exercise more or less? The gyms are closed, for heaven's sakes. And they're uptight. The media, scary, bad news, cases, the variant, in Canada, like in the United States, they're not even talking about a variant. In Canada, the variant, the India variant. And by the way, in India now, the cases are gone down unbelievable. You know why? Because they started using a couple of cheap medications. An anti-parasitic drug. It's done wonders. Anyway, don't want to get into that. But all I'm saying is, you can imagine, we've been look, this is not normal for kids not to be in school, kids to be at home on their computers and whatever. It's not normal, guys. And guess what they're doing? They're eating more. They're eating more. And especially comfort foods. Getting the quick fix, it rewires your brain in a nanosecond. Think about how fast that happens. Oh, the unintended consequences. I've been talking about it. I feel like John the Baptist screaming in the wilderness, and no one's listening to me. No, you guys are. No, but you know what I'm saying, guys? This is the most incredible little study in 30 days. It is groundbreaking. The brain. You get hooked. Because your brain gets rewired. The tobacco industry did it. The food industry is still doing it. They know they can rewire the brain. I remember a study that was done just on sugar, never mind, processed foods, just sugar. How it took a root. Sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup, which is the antichrist of sugars. The Franken sugar, made in a lab to hook you. You can't drink a soda. You can't drink anything and eat anything that has sugar added that it isn't high fructose corn syrup. They hide it under a million different names, but it doesn't matter. It's all made in a lab. It's cheap. It's a gift that keeps on giving to the food industry. They add it to everything, including cereals. Guys, this is life-changing. This is a moment of truth. And the world better wake up. Because the consequences, and I explained that to you very well in the book, The Metabolic Reset, is when you look at, again, I'm just going to say this quickly, I'll end with this. When someone, number one killer, it's a toss-up. Yesterday in the United States alone, 2,400 people died of a heart attack or stroke. 800 and, I can't remember the math, 800 and change, 800,000 and change a year. Every year. But why? We got more people on medications than ever before. We have more people. The number one selling drug of all time was a statin drug to lower cholesterol. Well, holy moly. I think we might have got that wrong. Holy moly. If cholesterol was the root of heart disease, we would have fixed it by now. And yet every day, Doc, what about my cholesterol? What about it? You can't make me interested in your cholesterol other than I want it to be high. You can't get me interested in it. I'm sorry. What about my LDL? What about it? What about my total cholesterol? What about it? What about my ratios? What about it? I don't care. We've been on a failed experiment for over 50 years. Fat makes you fat. No, it doesn't. Fat gives you cholesterol. No, it doesn't. Nope. And you can't change science, guys. This is real science. But it doesn't matter. It's not part of the narrative. Say a lie long enough. Say it. Say it. Say it. Oh, you got to have cereal in the morning. Don't have bacon and eggs. Bacon and eggs. Bacon and eggs. That's so bad for you. Oh, yeah, that's cholesterol. And you got to have our cereal. Cereal. All brand. You're going to go to the washroom. Wait, you think you're going to get a prize for going to the washroom? You get a prize? You know how they used to, and maybe they still do. You know how they lure kids? They put prizes in the cereal box. True or false? Remember? If you got to be my age maybe to remember that. There was a prize in there. So adults think they get a prize because they can go, I'm going to the bathroom. I got a prize. Ooh. Oh. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to the bathroom, okay? I'm just saying it's so overrated. What do you think? We're going to have a contest? Ooh, anyway. I got so excited when I read this little 30-day experiment. I tell you guys, I was supercharged. I couldn't get on the air fast enough to tell you about it. I couldn't. Okay. I don't have a watch that says to breathe. I'm glad I don't, because it would tell me to do it too often in a day. And now I'm breathing. Hey, doc, breathe. I don't need a watch to tell me that. Okay. Hey, guys. Okay. We love you. Okay? We do. And I'll sort of put a little synopsis online here, okay? On Facebook. If you're not a member of our private Facebook group and you're watching maybe for the first time this morning or listening to this on a podcast, please join the Martin Clinic private Facebook group, okay? Because we're going to post these articles and I'll give you a little bit of my... And of course, you can rewatch this live, okay? You can rewatch it, okay? Don't ask me how to do it. I don't know, but I think you can. And you can listen to it. Get your friends, by the way, to... and for those who are listening to our podcast, a lot of people re-listen to the teachings here on our podcast, okay? The Doctor is in podcast. You can get it on your smartphone and download it and automatically sign up for it. It'll come with a notice when they're given, okay? And if you want to give us a little review for our podcast, we would appreciate it, because that helps with distribution of it, okay? Anyway, I don't know anything about that either. I'm telling you what I've been told, okay? Now, I love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.